Good afternoon. Thank you for watching our video. This is Jimmy Wu from Prowork Pacific Inc. Before we start our video, again, we would like to ask you to subscribe us, to share with your friend, and also give us comment, and also give us a like, so that in future you will not miss our other video. Today, I would like to talk about one topic, but it's not very hot topic, but I got a different owner that asked me about this. Can I do prefabrication construction for my house? What is prefabrication? Today I want to explain about, prefabrication is basically like when we do the drawing, okay, in Hawaii and America, and then we send the drawing to the manufacturer in China, okay, and they do all the prefabrication of the house to put together like all the framing, wall, floor, with light gauge metal frame, not wood frame. It's light gauge metal frame. And then after they put all the individual pieces, and then they put in the cargo and then ship to Hawaii, and then they bring to the job site, and then they bring the job site to assemble together. So that's called prefabrication or construction, or prefab construction we call. Now, why people do that, or what makes it prefab is successful is because the idea is to save both material costs and labor costs, okay? Because when we send a drawing to the manufacturer, they have the wood shop and do the cutting, precise cutting in the shop. So then they would not waste that much material, right? And they do the pre-calculation first. And also, all this work will be done in manufacture in China. And when they bring into the local in Hawaii, the job site, when they just assemble together, will save more time, and which is the labor cost here, which is more expensive, right? So that means there's a saving cost in both labor and material. Now, this is the ideal how prefab can win. However, then people say, hey, do we do this in Hawaii? But in fact, you do not see that too often. Now, we do have. Prefabrication construction is not something like new. It's happening like 20 years already. But in Hawaii, we do not see that much. And I have done a few of them, and from different developers. However, after that, they didn't continue because they lose money on the project. Okay, so then now we're asking why prefab doesn't really work in Hawaii. Okay. In my opinion, there's several different factors or reasons for that. Okay, and sure, definitely get more. Some part is more deeper. Okay, but today I would just like to share some, something that I see and really like obvious, and could be the main, reason of what make the prefab construction doesn't work in Hawaii, right? Now, number one is a project scale. Now, because in Hawaii, our project scale is too small. A lot of time we talk about one house, two houses, or the most popular development is like 8 houses. Means new people, when they find a land is big enough, outside, then they can do 8 houses without doing cluster, right? And they do just like, CPR. So then, they're doing 8 houses. However, 8 houses, when you do prefab, is still a very, very few quantities. We talked about like when prefab can win is when they're doing mass production. Maybe like we're doing like 100 houses, or 50 houses, 60 houses in a big, bigger size development. And, imagine that in mainland. Now, in mainland, they do a lot of prefab, like in Las Vegas. I've seen they're doing development, but, those development talk about like 500 houses same time. So in that way, then they do mass production, they have the advantage of doing that. Yeah, but in Hawaii, relatively our scale is too small. So the manufacturer in China, they cannot, or they do not make much money on that, right? So when they sell to mainland, since the mass production, they can do cheaper price. Okay, but in Hawaii, they have to jack up the price because they only do 1 or 2 for you. So their cost, the labor is the same, right? So then that means relatively the price is higher. So that is the hard part. Okay, and also make it hard is the manufacturer, they don't even want to do your business because you only do one house, 2 houses. They don't even want to start because to them, they still got spending that much time for doing the calculation, doing the shop drawings, right? But only doing for 1 house, right? So this is the hard part for them. And then second was contractor resistance. Means the contractor, they do not want, okay, they do not want to change. because they feel that is, if I do the prefab and save labor, save material, that means my profit going less too, right? So that is a resistance from contractors, and because of the profit, and also because of the knowledge. Now, knowledge and technology, because now a lot of contractors, a majority contractors in Hawaii for residential, they are on wood construction. Okay, not many of them know how to do metal. So in one day, now you tell them, oh, I gotta do prefab, you gotta do this for me. They have to know how to put up metal work, and all the tools like saws, drill, all things, it gotta be different setup. Okay, and then the skills of how to handle metal is different from wood. Okay, so a lot of contractors and their labor, they don't know, so they have to train them. So why come a contractor? They'll be hard. Why I gotta train all my labor, all my workers just for one house, right? So that's a hard part, because people is human nature. People don't want to change. Contractor, when they feel, if I'm doing wood construction and I'm fine, I'm making money, why I want to change it to doing steel construction or light-gauge steel construction? So there's a resistance from contractors. Now, and the third one is a geographic disadvantage. Okay, means we have a high cost of correction. Means costly on shipping, time, and labor. Now, imagine this, right? That prefab construction in China is very popular and common nowadays. Now, when they have, sometimes manufacturers, they do make mistakes. It's just like we're buying stuff from any manufacturer. Sometimes you get defective parts, right? Even a car, right? So when they have defective parts, right, component, contractor on site, they will call the manufacturer, say, hey, so I find out this part is missing, or it's defective, it's crooked. Hey, can you send me another one? Manufacturer say, yeah, sure, I go make you another one, and they send you to your job site tomorrow or the day after, right? So they can only spend about a couple of days and can have their parts on the site. So that way, then it won't jeopardize the construction. However, in Hawaii, if the manufacturer have mistake, they have defective parts, and contractor on site, what they can do? I mean, are they going to call manufacturer in China and say, hey, I have this problem, I have the part doesn't work, so what? Then the manufacturer say, okay, I go make you one, and then I go bring it to the pier tomorrow. But the next shipment, the earliest one to arrive Hawaii will be 2 months. Can you wait 2 months? Right? Cannot. Right? Definitely cannot. So then what happened is, then whatever the mistake or error part, the contractor got to fix it on site. So now we're coming back to the issue is, in Hawaii, a more expensive thing is labor. So they have to spend that much of labor and work, right, to fix it, to modify the error part. That start increasing their cost. Okay. So for adding cost, also is there's other reason too, is incompetent construction drawings. Okay, means the drawing itself is not good enough for prefabrication. Now that is because of the fall behind software. Now, before 20 years ago, think about that, right? That time, everything's done by manual. Now, manual is either hand drawing or we're using AutoCAD. Now, AutoCAD is a 2D drawing, but it's also manual drawing. It's not like automatic coordinated. It's by really the hand work. No different from hand drawing, okay? That means a draftsman can draw a floor plan and elevation that doesn't match together. Even dimension or size can make mistake on that. So the fall behind software, okay, and also unqualified drafting person. That means the guy who draw in the beginning, he's not a qualified person to draw a good set of drawing and also coordinate the drawing. So imagine then this set of drawing, when he sent to manufacturer, and manufacturer would just follow that drawing to start fabricate the parts, the component, right? So that is how to create a lot of mistake, a lot of wrong component. And then when they ship to America, ship to Hawaii, and then when the contractor try to assemble, put it up together, and they find that, hey, the dimension doesn't right, or missing this part, or getting that part doesn't work, and then they gotta start fixing it on site. So that is a reason from the software, from the draftsman to create this kind of problem or mistake. And then also is a lack of infrastructure incorporation. Okay, coordination means mechanical, electrical, plumbing, integration. Now, in wood construction, okay, when they start installing pipe, like water pipe, so a drain pipe, or if they need to put pipe for AC, right, air conditioning, what contractors do is they drill hole through the wood stud or the wood frame. Now, drilling hole in wood stud is easy, right? Because I have another video talking about that, right? A lot of contractors, they're so easy to drill hole in wood, right? Because they have the skills. However, now when the manufacturer, they do the linkage frame, okay, there is no coordination between the MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, to the structure. So the manufacturer, they don't know where should them to cut a hole, drill hole for the people or for the contractor in here. So what they do is just give you a raw, frame without a hole. So now then when the frame come to the job site, now local contractor, they have to on site start drilling hole for conduit, for drain pipe, for water pipe. And now we're talking about drill hole on steel is much harder than drilling hole on wood, right? And after you drill hole on steel, because the cutting edge is really sharp, so they have to put some the bracket, the plastic bracket on each one to protect the cutting hole to whip by not damaging the piping when they're putting through, right? So there's a lot of labor in that. So again, those lack of coordination of MEP is also making more work on the site, which is I would say defeated the original idea of prefab, right? Prefab is trying to save labor, save time on site, but because of this, the software, behind software, the unqualified draftsmen and with the unqualified drawings, and then lack of coordination with MEP, then all this can create a lot of problem at the job site and make the people spend more time to modify or fixing it on site. So that's why the costs keep going up. Okay, and that's how to make the construction, the prefab construction doesn't work, because when you start putting American labor in here to go, put in the project, and end up if I figure out it doesn't work out, right? And also the one of thing is very important is that they do not have a key person coordination. Okay, they don't have a person that have knowledge, okay, or is sufficient knowledge professional who can understand from design and drawings and construction on both American side and China side. Because American, we're using imperial unit like feet and inch, but in China they're using metric, right? They could talk about meters, centimeter, millimeters, right? So, and also we have different building code versus China has. So we usually, a lot of developers, they do not have a qualified person to coordinate both sides. I've seen that before. A lot of draftsmen, a lot of developers, they think, oh, the house is easy, so they hire a draftsman to do a project, and then they just think, oh, send the drawing to China and they can do, to do the magic. But actually, it doesn't work that way. So that's why a lot of things can fail, is because in between, there's no such person can understand both sides and coordinate. Now, so far, this is what I find that is, was a reason in before why prefab doesn't work, in Hawaii. And fortunately now, because of the technology getting better, at least now we're using 3D software. Now 3D software will resolve a lot of things, because that helps. Let's say we build a house, right, virtually in the computer to make it work first, right? So that way, when we give this model to China, then at least dimension-wise, they will have the exact and won't be missed, okay? Because everything is coordinated in the computer already. And also with MEP, with 3D software today, we can even implement that, right? Where's the plumbing, how the pipe go through in the house, and then we show that in the model. So when the manufacturer, they take the model, they know that where will be the pipe is, and they can drill hole, pre-drill hole on every single stud or single frame, so let the pipe can go through. Now, so there's a new, like, more like new stuff than nowadays to help, prefab to be success in Hawaii. So hopefully one day we can see that happen. The prefabrication construction will be like successful in Hawaii, and then everybody can, can can make the house affordable in Hawaii. Thank you for watching our video. If you like our video, give us a like and give us some comment. If you have a question, give us a call or email us. We will talk about it. Thank you very much.